Hey y'all, good to see you again. We're gonna go out here and do some fishing for a tournament, but before we do, a couple of things. First, in March, we're gonna have the Polecat tournament coming up. Now that's a boat tournament, so if you have a boat and you want to come out and test your skills against other catfishermen, see how good you are, come on out. Now on that tournament, every other tournament is going to be at the Polecat ramp, and then the next one after that will be I think we got Tom Fuller, I think we got Caney Creek and a few other ramps on there. So we're going to be using different ramps this year, and our Classic is still yet to be decided. As a matter of fact, Classic may not even be on Mossbar. Who knows? It may be a surprise lake, because we do want to test your skills as well as ours. We want to see just how good we are at finding and catching those big cats, right? So my buddy John, he runs that one. Now I've also made a new friend, Billy, and he runs Big Whiskers. Now, his is normally held out of Ladd Landing. He does some there. So, if you want to test your skills out on any tournament, you can choose one or the other. I'd really like to see you come out and fish with us at Polecat, though. So, that's the first thing I'm excited about, because, I mean, it's coming up fast. This being in January, my PKA kayak tournament. First month on the tournament, first kayak tournament I've ever been in. It's going to be ending, I think, this Friday. Tomorrow, that should be the 31st, so it will end at midnight, and I'll see how I've done for the first month. I've already signed up for February, so still going strong. So when I'm not in the boat tournaments, with my friends John, Justin, any of them, Paul, my buddy Paul. So if we're not in the tournament with any of them, we'll be in the kayak trying to still catch those big catfish out here on Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, a lot of our local places. The other thing I got excited about happened last weekend, and that was the East Tennessee Fishing Expo. I went up there to look at some kayaks, but my main reason for going was Mr. Jeremy Chase, and I wanted to meet him. I had to meet him. I use Chasing Cat rods now. As you know, I used to use Mad Cats, but you know how those rods, they can bend. They might bend a lot, but that's a problem. That bend in them, especially with it being a more moderate action, what happens is when that catfish bites the hook, you need the pressure of a strong backbone to help set that hook. In other words, it's got to have enough that's going to hold it and pull that hook. Pull that hook through the jaw, or if they've worked it over to the side of their mouth like it's supposed to do with these circle hooks, pull it through that side to hook the fish. And I kept losing some fish with the Mad Cats because, man, the way those things bend, it just wasn't getting enough pressure on when the fish would pull that bait, and it would just bend. So I need something with more backbone. I wanted something more specific to what I was trying to fish for, which is why I went with Chasing Cat rods. And I mean, they've got that backbone, so that when that fish picks it up, it's fast action. It bends more towards the top. It's going to set that hook. It's going to give you a better hook set. These are more catfish specific rods. Not really made for other fish. Might catch other fish on them, but here's the thing. Specific for catfish, and that's what we're after. So I go up there and I meet him, and of course Catfish Dave If any of you know Catfish Dave, he was there. And while I was there, he had his new rods. And so I picked us up 2 of them. We got 2 new rods. These are in a heavy action. And you can see the bend there when I put pressure, spinning it about right here, right near the top. That's where I want it. I'm going to have enough when that fish picks it up that it's going to pull it tight, pull it quick. It's going to set that, it's going to give me a better hook set than what I was getting with the Mad Catz rods. That's why you need these rods. You need rods more specific as to what you're going after. And so everything that I'm using now is coming from Chasing Outdoors except one thing. And that's why we're making this video. I wanted to show you how I set up my rigs. So, first, here are the things you're going to need. Okay, now I've already cut a little bit of line, but first thing you want to get your hands on is some of this Bill Fisher. This is 80-pound leader line. This is the brand that I like using. And all of this stuff here has come from Chasing Cats. Now, you need your spook, but you can get in different colors. Normally I use like a black and chrome, or I've got a orange and green and black that I like using. I haven't used any of these. I got these from Jeremy, so I don't know how well these will work, or if the fish will bite on them. Maybe the colors might attract them a little more if they see it coming by them. But we're going to try that out. And of course, in a kayak I don't need heavy weights, so I'm going with a 2-ounce dragging sinker. We have our crane swivel. It's a little 3-way swivel. See that? A clip. And then of course your hook. Now this hook is the only thing that I do not get from Jeremy. And these are Whisker Seeker triple threats. Now I've got 2 of them here. I've got a 10-aught and 12-aught. You can see the difference in size. Now I use these different sizes for reasons. Smaller baits, you know, like a bluegill, something like that. If I'm using it live, I'm gonna hook it through the top. Anything like that, I'm gonna use 10. I like these 12s when I'm using like a lot of big skipjack. You know, I catch big skipjack. I got a big chunk I'm gonna throw in there. I'm using this bigger hook, wider gap, and what that does, it allows me to hook that bigger bait a little better, a little deeper. But when you do hook a little deeper, you don't want that hook turning into your bait. So I'm using this 12-aught because I can hook it a little deeper so my bait will stay on better. And then because of that wide gap, it's not, when you hook it at an angle through the bait, it's going to help keep that above there. It's not going to get hooked into it. I like that. So this is mainly for really large baits. That's why I use the 12. Other than that, I'm using this 10 for any size fish. Yeah, I've even caught little bitty catfish like that. I don't know how they sometimes get that in their mouth, but they do. They get that in there. So I went ahead, I've dipped this line in some water. So to rig up, you're going to take your swivel, and the knot that I'm going to use here is a uni knot. So you just pull it through, just kind of make a loop, right? And I'm going to line it up so that I have both sides like this. And then I'm going to bring the line back around. Okay. And then I'm just going to wrap it around itself. That's uni knot. Like I said, I pre-wet this you want to wet your line when you're pulling on it. It will cause striations, bad spots in your line if you don't. I'm going to re-wet it again there just a little. And then we're going to pull it tight. I'm going to check it, make sure I didn't do anything bad. You don't want the striations in there. Sometimes I'll use like a polymer knot, and I'll use it if it keeps, like if I was to pull that, it was called striations in the line. I use that. So then we're going to take our scissors, or if you're using pliers, we'll cut that. Okay. So now we got this. Now what I cut for us was about a 5-foot piece of leader line. You don't want all of your leader lines to be like as long as your leg. you want some different sizes. Make some short, make some long. I'm making this one kind of long. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm going to put our spook on. Now, some people like to just tie a knot at each end, and you can do that. Anywhere you have a knot, though, remember, that knot is a weak point. What I like to do for mine is to just, I'll run it through the front eye. Just got 3 eyes on it. I'm going to run it through the front, then through the center. Okay, and back through the back. You're going to check. If you pull on it, it should have a lot of pressure and tension on it. Running it that way right there, what that does, it helps keep the spook from sliding, but sometimes it will still slide. And I'll show you what I do. Now you still have to check your line, even if you don't, if you prefer not to tie the knot because you don't want another weak point, you don't want a lot of weak points in your leader. What you can do besides that is possibly buy, and I hate to say it, but Daniel at Catfish Sumo, they have a brand new spook, one where the line goes through the center of the spook. All you need to do is use bobber stops. I may try some of those, but I really like Jeremy's products because I believe in them. So I'm going to hang with these. But you need to check your line. Even if you don't tie the knots, if you run it through, having the line like that will still cause places in it over time. And when it gets a bad spot in it, that's cause for a lost fish. One of the other things I do is I also take me some electrical tape and I'll put a piece around it. That's something I picked up from Dieter Melhorn, and that just keeps the spook in one place. Like I said, even though it's got that pressure and should not slide from where you put it, it sometimes will. So if you want to keep it in one spot, if I put that electrical tape, just one little wrap on there, that will help keep it from doing that. So I'm just going to pull that spook on up there out of the way. And now we're going to tie on our 10-aught because we're not using large baits. We're just using some gizzard shad today. So you want to go, when putting on your hook, you want to run it through the eye, through the front here. So you got your points here. This is the front, not from the back of the shank. Don't run it in this way. Come in from the front. Okay. Now, you have several ways you can do this. Once you run it through that front and you got it like that, you can fold it back up, making a loop. You can wrap it, run the tag in through, pull everything tight, and your hook will be snelled. The other way you can do it is to pull enough down that you can pull and push your tag in back up through the eye and then wrap around. It does come out a little more clean that way. And then there's also the knotless knot, but we are just going to stick with what has been working. And so I'm gonna, let me see about how long I want this to be. Yeah, so we're gonna make this one about 2.5 to 3 feet long. So I think we're gonna try that today. So I just run it through the front, and then I'm gonna fold it up. So I've got a loop there, and then I'm just gonna wrap this 7 times around the shank and the line. All right. So now that I've got it wrapped, I'm just going to take this tag in and I'm going to put it back through that loop there on the bottom. And then I'm going to hold both ends, tag in and my main line. I'm just going to pull. And once I've got it tight to where I've got all that slack out, I'm going to let go of the tag end here. All right, I'm just going to pull this main line, and it's going to pull everything tight. And so as you can see, it's now snelled. And I like this. It's not I use all the time, snelling. And I still leave like just a little bit there. You can see I leave a little bit on the end. And that's a really good knot. That'll hold everything. So now I'm going to slide this spook back down. And here lately, where I've been dragging, so I want this to kind of hang down a little bit, so I don't want to get it right up on there. If I want it to stay up off the bottom more, all I need to do is move that spook down. But we're going to put it, that's probably about 5 inches or so away from the hook. So that's about right where I want it. But that's for this time of year and the way that I'm fishing. And then I'm going to take that piece of electrical tape, just like I showed you. And I'm going to wrap this around the, just one little piece. I'm not wrapping the whole thing. Just one little piece there. Cut that. So I just got it wrapped around, and all that does is help keep it from moving. So there we have our leader made. So now we're just going to put it on here. And what I've got here, this is 80 pounds Power Pro braid. And I use braid. Now, I use some monofilament, but, you know, monofilament's got to stretch. When I'm using monofilament, it's in places where there's a lot more rock, a lot more structure. It's a little more abrasion resistant, where the braid is not. I have used braid in rocky places and caught fish, and there have been times where I have lost some fish because, once again, it would abrase it on the rock and it would just snap this braid, even with it being 80 pounds. So I'm just going to make me a loop here. And what we're doing, this is just a polymer knot. So bring it around, back through. Actually, I'm tying a double. Let me I don't want to tie a double on this. Let's just put this in here. I'm going to take this. I'm going to create a loop. We're not going to do the double today. I'll show you that another time. Let's put the loop through our swivel there. So we got this one on the crane swivel, you know, it's hanging down. So make sure you put it on the right one. Put it through there. And you're going to bring your loop. And I gave myself enough because remember, we've got to run this whole thing through. You're going to loop it back around into an overhand knot. Alright? And then you're just going to grab your leader and we're just going to pull that through. Okay? Now, once you have it through, you just pull tight. And that is polymer knot. So, I'm going to trim this tag end up here. So 80 pounds down to there. And now we're going to take our clip. Remember this little clip I showed you? The reason we use these is because we can put dragon sinker on there, right? But let's say I want to anchor up somewhere and throw out and, you know, anchor fish, or maybe I just want to fish directly off the bottom or put out that suspended line. I can do it with this clip, because with this clip I can put this on here. Actually, I should put it in from that side. Let's put this on from okay. So now we got our clip on there. I'm just going to take this, slide it on, and there we go. And now we're all rigged up. All we need to do is put a bait on there, throw it out, and we can just drag that right through the water. Now, we'll catch our catfish for the tournament. Now, other than being excited about using these new heavy action rods from Chasing Cats, I'm hoping at one point that we're going to have a change up in one of our other setups, but I kind of want to keep that as a surprise for right now. So with this here, and I kind of forgot to mention this, so like the reason we use those clips, if you want to anchor or suspend fish, all I got to do is take that dragging weight off, and I get a coin sinker. It's got a little loop on the end of it, and I just put it on the clip. And that makes your setups versatile. So you can use it whichever way you see fit. So I'm going to clean up my mess here. One of the things that will help you out a lot is I like to make pre-tied leaders. Make pre-tied leaders, something happens, you end up snagging, you'll end up snagging, hanging up sometimes. And you know that, making those pre-tied leaders, you just take one out, put your new one on, you're right back in the game. And that's good, especially if you run tournaments. So, you know, that's how I like to rig. Now, if you like doing something a little bit different, say you use some different knots, or maybe you use different hooks, whatever it is, however you like to rig, if yours is a little different, you know, place it down in the comments. Let us know how you like to rig, and how you like to set up your lines. And that way, I feel like, you know, because I want to give everybody a voice on some of this stuff. And who knows, if you do yours a little bit differently and you think you've got something that works a little better, you know, I may try it. And if we try it, you know, I'll throw it out there in the video. The other thing is that you may see this video, but you may get a second one. I don't know. I'm trying real hard with this stuff because I really want to make, you know, quite a few videos. But I got the GoPro back going. Now, I had 3 batteries for this thing. I don't know what it is about the batteries for these GoPros. I'm going to tell you, I bought that thing. It came with one. I bought 2 extras because I knew about the cold and the heat having an effect on them. And those things just died on me. Just died. Wouldn't take a charge. I don't know what's wrong with those things. Just crazy. But I'm going to get out here now on the water. I'm going to go fish. I'm going to have the GoPro on. So hopefully pictures, and even better yet, hopefully a video. So I'm hoping that, you know, if you want to catfish, you want to do some of this stuff like you see me or some of the other guys doing, hopefully that helps you. And so, you know, like I said, if you have a way you like to set up, rig up, whatever it is, something you feel works a little better, please feel free to, you know, put it down in the comment section there. And, you know, because I like a good discussion. So, without anything further, let's get out here on the water, guys.